One of those moments when you stop scrolling, freeze, and just watch. Kody and Janelle, two individuals who had spent decades creating a life with each other, utterly disintegrating in a small apartment. The tension between them, the raw emotion on their faces. Kody, pacing, defiant, insisting that Janelle acknowledge to the world he was gaslighting her. Janelle, exhausted and trapped, planted her feet, fighting to maintain it, as all they'd built came apart around them in that tiny room he'd one time declared was too small for him. And we watched it go down, raw, uncut, straight up, unedited heartache unfolding live. Hey guys, it's Aina, and welcome back to Reality Recap. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss any of our Sister Wives deep dives and the behind-the-scenes drama. Also, drop a comment. Where were you emotionally when that fight aired? Because wow, it didn't just land, it slammed. That scene wasn't just another blow-up. For Janelle, it was the final straw. This wasn't about Kody getting loud or needing control. We've seen that before. It was about finally realizing the truth. He never viewed her as an equal. The respect she earned, the loyalty she gave, the years she sacrificed, it all meant nothing unless she obeyed. Unless she became Robyn. And that's the thing. We've seen this unraveling coming for seasons. The little jabs, the rules masked as safety protocols, the favoritism, the way Kody slowly started treating Janelle and the kids they raised as background players in a show where he and Robyn had suddenly become the stars. How did it come to this? How did a family that once stood on shared faith and unity become so fractured that Janelle had to leave just to catch her breath? Stick around, because we're breaking down what really shattered this family and why no amount of tell-alls or glossy apologies can patch up what Kody and Robyn helped tear apart. When Kody told him that he had someone fundamentally loyal in his life, and that Janelle could have the same relationship if she was as loyal, everything changed. The atmosphere, the mood, it shifted. It wasn't a sincere request, it was a demand for obedience. What he actually meant, without even coating it in sugar, was, be like Robyn. Don't question me, don't push back, and don't stick up for your kids when I tell them they're in the wrong. That was not love. That was control. And it darkened. Kody wasn't just shifting expectations, he was rewriting what marriage itself meant. Being a wife now meant silence. Being a mother meant keeping your husband above your children. And if you didn't, you were disloyal. You were the issue. He grasped that word, loyalty, like armor. Any opposition was betrayal. Janelle, who had dedicated years to keeping things intact, who raised 6 of Kody's children with courage and forbearance, was now suddenly being informed that none of that counted. The only thing that meant anything was obedience. Then there was the slap in the face of the double standard. Gabriel and Garrison, 2 sons who had ever tried to be deferential, were suddenly branded as rebellious just for questioning Kody's constantly changing rules. They didn't ask for a lot, just equality, a relationship. But Kody didn't like any relationship that didn't revolve around Robyn. And when Janelle wouldn't evict her sons for him, that was it. He considered that betrayal. Now compare that to Dayton, Robyn's son. When Robyn and Kody had a problem with Dayton, what did they do? He was instructed to stay in an RV outside their house. No dramatic arc. No humiliation in public. It was quiet. It was kindness. Janelle's kids never received that mercy. That speaks volumes. There were always 2 playbooks, one for Robyn's kids, one for everyone else. Kody wanted Janelle to punish her boys severely, but when Robyn was in the same place, he gave her space. He gave her silence. So what's the fallout when the man who's supposed to be the head of the family sets up a system where there's this gold standard wife, and then everyone else, including the kids, is second class? You break. When it came down to a decision, you either bowed down or left. Janelle made her choice. She did not bow. She chose her children. She chose herself, and that's when Kody's so-called loyalty test escalated into an all-out war. This was no longer just family dysfunction. This was favoritism turned into a weapon. A family which had once been founded on equality now became a kingdom ruled by one throne. And Kody? He was intent on ensuring Robyn remained sitting on it. For most of us sitting in front of our TVs, tuned into Sister Wives, the grown-up drama was complicated, yes. But the actual destruction came from what was occurring to the children. And no tale struck closer to home than Garrison's. His presence, his absence. The silence about his suffering, it's something that this show can never wash away. What we saw was not simply uncomfortable family tension, it was prolonged, oppressive, deep-seated emotional hurt. The kind of suffering reality TV tends to gloss over, but not today. Today, we saw it. We experienced it. Garrison was not just another side player in this drama. He was a son, a young man who merely wished for a connection with his father. Someone caught between owing devotion to his mother and desperately wanting to be noticed, listened to, appreciated by a father who was moving increasingly away. When he and Gabriel resisted the now famous COVID regulations Kody had helped give himself credit for, but everybody knew were actually Robyn's, they were immediately branded as rude. But what were they really demanding? Time, attention, fairness, love. And how did Kody react? By flipping on the cameras and condemning them, again and again, making them the villains in moments that should have been intimate parenting moments, now public spectacle. These boys didn't sign up for that. They didn't choose to be pawns in Kody and Robyn's drama-filled script. But the cameras never stopped rolling. The show never stopped needing content. And they, without their choice, became part of it in the most devastating possible way. That's what so many forget. This wasn't just a family. It was a filmed family. And in reality television, that distinction between real life and plot lines is completely obliterated. Kody might appear on national TV and declare his sons disobedient, declare Janelle a parenting failure, declare distance their responsibility. And those boys? No clear platform to counter, unless they did decide to enter the same spotlight that was causing them harm. Some of them did. But it didn't work. It just pulled them deeper into the cycle. More pain, more headlines, more sound bites for the show to devour and vomit back up. The show did not protect them. It exploited them. And the worst part? Even after Garrison's death, the cycle did not cease. Kody spoke of it on screen, his pain, his grief. But it did not strike me as a father coming to terms with loss. It struck me as a character extending his storyline. And that is a fate no child, living or dead, should ever be subjected to. For these children, leaving was never really an option. Their lives had already been divided into bits, edited into preview trailers, reshared as clips on social media. The emotional abuse didn't occur behind closed doors. It occurred through the screen, acted out for millions. And that is a responsibility no child should ever have to bear. For more than a decade, Sister Wives marketed us the vision of togetherness. 4 wives, 1 husband, a dozen-plus children, and the promise that this non-traditional family arrangement could somehow, magically, work. That was the narrative. That was the branding TLC relied on. But outside of the neatly composed shots, the coordinated shirts, the photo-perfect family dinners, was a maelstrom that no camera could entirely capture. Because the reality. What we witnessed wasn't togetherness. It was performance. And the longer the cameras rolled, the more it was obvious. This wasn't one big, happy family. It was a system in collapse, propped up by tight cuts and tighter denial. To the outside world, it may have seemed like love and commitment, but to those trapped in it, it was hierarchy. It was favoritism. It was burnout. Reality TV gave Kody the mic, and he used it. Used it to manipulate events, tell the story, preserve one relationship at the expense of all others. Kody and Robyn presented themselves as the peaceful, united, spiritually balanced center of the family. But while they flourished in front of the cameras, financially secure, emotionally fulfilled, ever prepared for their next scene, the other wives were disintegrating behind the scenes. We saw Christine reach her breaking point. We observed Mary hold on to the specter of a dead marriage. We observed Janelle, steadfast, reliable Janelle, start questioning all she had assumed. But the second any of them spoke up, any of them disagreed with how things were being done, that pretension of harmony, it shattered. And when it shattered, Kody and Robyn didn't attempt to repair it. They doubled their efforts. They huddled together, formed a circle of emotional wagons, and left the rest of the family to weather the storm by themselves. Now onto the money. Because for years, that was the conversation that got swept under the rug. But don't get it wrong. When those TLC checks rolled in, they weren't split down the middle. While Christine, Mary, and Janelle were working side jobs, dealing in MLMs, peddling whatever they could just to stay afloat, Robyn? She didn't have to. She had the cushion. She had Kody, living in her house full-time, providing undivided attention, showing up emotionally, and yes, financially. She had stability while the others were fighting for security. What Kody and Robyn shared wasn't a marriage. It was a power partnership, a configuration in which Kody bore the brunt, acted out the controlling, misunderstood husband, and Robyn quietly played the soft-spoken, misunderstood wife. She maintained a clean image while he vented about disloyal wives and disrespectful kids. But their intimacy was paid for dearly. Every other family relationship quietly disintegrated in the shadow of their so-called unity. And the show? It didn't just document the breakdown, it profited from it. The more dysfunctional the family was, the higher the ratings. Tears were converted to cliffhangers. Dramatic arguments became multi-part episodes. Agony was rebranded as plot. That's the most sinister aspect of all. Reality TV didn't merely expose the dysfunction, it perpetuated the dysfunction. Because love is not a draw. But anarchy? Anarchy commands ratings. Off camera, this was not a family attempting to repair itself. This was a family being whittled away, minute by minute, season by season, all for programming. And regardless of how many staged heart-to-hearts or glossy retakes of so-called healing they provided, you could sense the truth behind the screen. The reconciliation was a script, the coming together, a narrative. There is a point, if you've been around long enough emotional destruction, where silence is your only refuge, where becoming no contact isn't punishment, it's protection. That's where Janelle is today. So, for anyone still wondering why she won't sit down for lunch with Robyn, why she won't respond to Kody's half-hearted, let's reconnect gestures, it's not about resentment. It's about boundaries. When Janelle sat down in that tell-all interview chair, the tension was thick. The questions were disguised as concern. Could you see yourself being friends with Robyn again? Do you think there's still a path to reconciliation with Kody? But beneath those questions was a refusal, a rejection of all she had endured. We watched her choose her words with caution, not because she was hiding something, but because she had everything to guard: her serenity, her children, her hard-won distance from decades of gaslighting and guilt trips. And yet, the show continued to push for a happy ending. As if forgiveness was the sole acceptable outcome. As if, having been through everything she went through, the smart thing would be to smile on camera and just let it go for the sake of the story. But here's the reality. Sometimes healing means walking away and never looking back. Janelle put it bluntly. She could be in a room with Kody and Robyn if she really needed to. She could be polite. Make small talk. But friends? Lunch? Something authentic again? That boat didn't sail. It sank. Not because she's cold, not because she's angry, but because once trust is broken that deeply, nothing can repair it. No amount of time, no amount of TV therapy. She knows exactly what would occur if she opened that door again. The manipulation, the guilt, the expectation to fall in line. And she's done playing that role. There's no fixing something that was never built on respect in the first place. Janelle's power isn't found in what she has said. It's in what she hasn't. Her avoidance of being baited. Her serene defiance of a formulaic closure arc. Her quiet dedication to healing, even when the cameras are clamoring for a moment of forgiveness. So when you watch her opting for distance over drama, silence over storyline, remember this. That's not weakness. That's power. Her peace isn't tied up in Kody's regrets or Robyn's validation. It is a result of lastly selecting herself. After all the years of being informed, she never really measured up. And no, she does not wish to be friends. Because some things aren't meant to be fixed. Some doors remain closed for a reason. And that's the toughest thing about reality TV, a show like Sister Wives. The people living inside the chaos? They're not the ones holding the pen. Their lives get filtered through someone else's lens, cut up, reframed, repackaged for prime time. And with Janelle, what we've witnessed isn't just a woman walking away from a broken marriage. We've seen someone slowly stripped of control over her own story, and then take it back, piece by piece, with quiet, unwavering strength. She didn't need a blowout argument. She didn't require the drama showdown or the screaming argument. Janelle's was in the quiet, in the relaxed, near matter-of-fact manner that she stated, "I just don't like them." That was the actual mic drop. For all the years of smiling agreeably and playing nice for family's sake, that sentence was her line in the sand. Her way of being like, "I've given enough. I'm done explaining my pain just so someone else can turn it into content." Because the price of having someone else tell your story, it's high. You watch your reality chopped into digestible episodes. You see your children pulled into fights they never agreed to be a part of. And worst of all, you become a supporting character in a copy of your life you barely recognize. But Janelle, she didn't survive. It discovered her voice in the middle of the ruins. And the best thing a woman can do sometimes is to leave the noise behind. Let them roll the credits. And never arrive at the reunion. Thanks for spending time with me today. I'm Anya, and this is Reality Recap. If seeing this family implode resonated, if you've ever had to draw a line in the sand that no one else could get, leave your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and continue showing up for the truth, because more often than not, the actual story is the one they hoped we wouldn't catch wind of.